Buenas and Hafaday, the Committee on Maritime and Air Transportation, Parks, Tourism, Higher Education, and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens is back from recess. The time now is 5:25 p.m. We are continuing with our confirmation hearing, and we are now on agenda item C, the appointment of Yolanda M. Padrones to serve as member of the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. The mission of the Guam Community College is to be a leader in career and technical workforce development, providing the highest quality student-centered education and job training in Micronesia. The college engages with the community in order to be able to provide programs and services that can best meet the needs of the community and the workforce now and in the future. The Board of Trustees adopts policies and regulations necessary to operate the college. Board members appoint and evaluate the president of the college, evaluate and make recommendations for executive and legislative action to improve programs, and much more. It is the vision of the Guam Community College to be the premier educational institution for providing globally recognized educational and workforce development programs. At this time, I'd like to welcome our Guam Community College Board of Trustees Chair, Mr. Frank Ariola, Board of Trustees member Rose Greeno, and Mrs. Chidella, Vice President of the Guam Community College. Can you tell us your first name for the record?
It's Gina.
Gina, thank you very much. And I'd like to first start with Mr. Ariola. Please state your name before you begin with the testimony.
Frank Ariola, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, GCC. Hafaday, Madam Chairperson and distinguished senators. My name is Frank Ariola, and I'm the Chairman of the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. I am honored to come before you in support of the nomination of Ms. Yolanda Padrones to the GCC Board of Trustees. As a member of the GCC Board of Trustees for the past 14 years, I believe the strength of our board is found in the diversity of talent and expertise among the members. We come from different sectors of our community and bring a variety of perspectives to the discussion. Yet, more than that, we all share a commitment to raise the bar on the readiness of our people to meet the demands for a highly skilled workforce to support Guam's growth and prosperity. Ms. Padrones, a daughter of Guam, has worked in the field of human resources development for more than 30 years. While earning her bachelor and master's degrees, her experience and extensive knowledge in this area will add real value to the mix of expertise we already have. As a current Director of Human Resources for J Enterprises, and having served as the Vice President for Human Resources for the Bank of Guam and Training and Development Manager, she brings both the professional working knowledge of HR and the leadership experience in this critical profession. She has also taken an active role in the leadership and governance of human resource management as the current president of the Society of Human Resources Management Guam Chapter, otherwise known as SHRM. In addition, Ms. Padrones serves as a member of the Guam Workers' Compensation Commission, and if she's not too busy, she also teaches as an adjunct faculty member at the University of Guam. I want to thank Governor Lulian Guerrero for appointing Ms. Padrones, and of course, thank you, Yolanda, for lending your time and expertise to serve as a member of the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. I believe you'll find our members to be dynamic, forward-thinking, and committed to workforce development for our island and region. Si Julius Masi for the opportunity to come before you today in support of Yolanda Padrones' nomination.
Si Julius Masi, Chair Ariola. Mrs. Greeno.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairperson, and then members of the 37 Guam Legislature. I am Rose Greeno, and I currently serve as a Secretary of the Board of Trustees for Guam Community College. Along with my colleagues also testifying today and those who have submitted their testimony for the record, I too come before you today to express my support for the nomination of Ms. Yolanda Padrones to the GCC Board of Trustees. As the newest member of the Board of Trustees, I believe I can provide a fresh perspective on the value of this board and its diverse membership. Those of you who know me know that I have served in many capacities in various boards and commissions in Guam. I brought that experience with me when I was appointed to the GCC Board of Trustees. And as I look back at the importance of this board, its governance of the college, and its mandate to train up a skilled workforce for our island and region, the diversity of expertise and leadership on the board truly is our strength. Workforce development requires broad perspective and knowledge. As a nurse and a healthcare executive, I am able to understand the very critical role of our allied health and nursing program to improving healthcare delivery in Guam. Every board member has their field of expertise in insurance, real estate, contracting, shipping, and transportation, and many other areas that allow for a diverse mix of experiences and views. This all contributes significantly to the decision-making process. The addition of Ms. Padrones to this body will give us expertise specifically in the field of human resources management and training. With Ms. Padrones' decades of experience in human resources, she will bring a wealth of knowledge to the decisions and the discussions of the board. I fully support the nomination of Ms. Yolanda Padrones to the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. Thank you for allowing me to testify today. Si Diyos Maasi, Rose Greeno, RN-BSN, Secretary of the Board of Trustees. Madam Chair, I also want to read the testimony of our Vice Chairperson, if you allow me.
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. Venetian Hafaday, Madam Chairperson Shelton, and members of the 37th Guam Legislature. Thank you all for taking the time to be here today. I'm reading this for Mr. Carlo Leon Guerrero. He has been a member of the Guam Community College Board of Trustees since 2018 and currently serves as the Vice Chairman. I come before you today in full support of the nomination of Ms. Yolanda Amonia Padrones to serve as a member of the GCC Board of Trustees. As a longtime businessman in Guam, I can attest to the value of having a strong connection between our local business community and Guam Community College. The backbone of our economy is a strong, skilled labor force. Our current times bear witness to this fact. The H-2B workers in Guam today numbers around 4,000. These individuals are doing skilled labor work that our local workforce should be able to perform, yet capacity lags far behind demand. I am proud of the work that we are doing at GCC. The implementation of work-ready boot camps, initially for construction and ship repair, have grown to many other areas of demand, such as cybersecurity, information technology, truck driving, bus driving, daycare, and medical home health aid. These are all critical areas of need to support our economy, and there are still so much more to do. The addition of Ms. Padrones to the GCC Board of Trustees will bring in another private sector executive who understand the difficult employment issues facing local businesses, but with the added expertise in human resources management and training. That training component is pivotal to the work ahead of us to support the design and implementation of more programs to train up workforce to meet the demands of our economy. Thank you again for this opportunity to support another highly qualified nominee to the GCC Board of Trustees. Ms. Padrones, I look forward to working with you in a very near future. Signed, Mr. Carlo Leon Guerrero, Vice Chairman, Board of Trustees, Guam Community College. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Greeno and Mr. Leon Guerrero, for your testimony, as well as Chairman Ariola. Dr. Tadella.
Half a day, Madam Chairperson and Honorable Senators. My name is Gina Tadella, and I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs at Guam Community College. Unfortunately, our President, Dr. Mayor Okada, is not able to be here this afternoon, but she requested that I represent her and read her testimony to the legislature. I come before you today in support of the appointment of Ms. Yolanda Padrones to the GCC Board of Trustees. Ms. Padrones comes to the GCC Board of Trustees with 3 decades of experience in human resources management and would add valuable insights to the board with regard to workforce training and capacity building. In her role as the president of the Society for Human Resources Management Guam chapter, Ms. Padrones has a bird's-eye view of the challenges facing employers today. Her intimate understanding of those obstacles will help our board and the college to continually improve our offerings and training programs. The addition of Ms. Padrones with her management and training experience will add depth and capacity to our leadership team at a very important time. GCC is beginning our reaccreditation preparation. As we do so, having her knowledge and experience in training and capacity building can only add to our clear commitment to support our faculty and staff with training and professional development to strengthen their capacity to support the college's mission. The GCC Board of Trustees is, in my experience, one of the most effective and responsive governing bodies I have worked with, and they are truly mission-focused, ensuring that GCC remains a leader in career and technical workforce development, providing the highest quality student-centered education and job training for Micronesia. The addition of Ms. Yolanda Padrones will only broaden and extend the capacity of the board. I am in full support of Ms. Padrones' appointment to the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. Thank you for your time and favorable consideration.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okada and Dr. Tudela, for that testimony. We'll now hear from the nominee, Ms. Padrones.
Hafaday, Madam Chairperson, and the members of the 37th Guam Legislature. Thank you all for being here today. I'd like to also thank the members of the Board of Trustees of the Guam Community College who are here in support of my nomination and to offer testimony on my behalf. I'm honored to be before you. My name is Yolanda Padrones. I currently serve as the Director of Human Resources for J Enterprises. Prior to J, my background in human resources includes managing both training and development and the Human Resources Department for the Bank of Guam. In addition to my work as a human resources professional, I also serve as an adjunct faculty with the University of Guam teaching human resources to students pursuing degrees in business management. It has been my privilege to merge my experience and passion for what I do to give back to the community through teaching. Beyond my employment background, I am also a volunteer leader for the Society for Human Resource Management, our Guam chapter, as its chapter president in support of our mission to elevate human resources for our island. It truly has been a rewarding experience to work with other HR and legal professionals to advocate for creating better workplaces where employers and employees can thrive together. Finally, I also serve as the general public representative of the Guam Workers' Compensation Commission since 2021. I was born and raised on Guam. I attended Notre Dame High School and later earned a Bachelor of Business and Public Administration degree with a concentration in human resources from the University of Guam. I also earned a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Phoenix and senior level certifications from the Society for Human Resource Management, SHRM SCP, and the Human Resource Certification Institute, HRCI. I am humbled to have been appointed to serve on the Board of Trustees for the Guam Community College, lending my experience and expertise in human resources as a representative of the general public. If confirmed, I hope to continue to grow the success of GCC's workforce development programs to meet the needs of our island. As an employer in the private sector, we are often asked to share what education and/or training is needed from our local workforce, and it goes without saying that the Guam Community College has been an integral part in supporting the needs of the island and leading the charge with innovative programs to ensure that the people of Guam are given opportunities to a highest quality education and vocational training to be successful. I look forward to sharing my perspective from an HR point of view as well as that of an instructor in higher education. The landscape of human resource management has changed significantly since COVID, with higher rates of turnover, challenges with retention, a demand for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and unprecedented labor shortages, to only name a few. Guam Community College's growth and expansion to support the growing demands of our island has been quite significant. It would be my privilege to join the team of hardworking professionals whose dedication to the mission of the Guam Community College is demonstrated through and through in providing the highest quality student-centered education and job training in the region. Siduus Ma'asi.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Padrones. If there's anyone else who wishes to testify, you're all here for the airport. Okay, we'll begin with questions from the senators who are here. Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you, panel. Thank you, Ms. Padrones, for wanting to step up in public service, your time to that. You're currently with the Triple J, right? Triple J?
Correct.
And also an adjunct professor at the
Correct.
University of Guam.
Yes.
What do you teach over there?
Human resources,
Human resources.
employment law
Yeah.
specifically.
Why did I ask? Right. Yeah. What are your goals? What do you see for your goals with the GCC?
I want to be able to lend my expertise, and also I have a unique perspective in being the SHRM president to be able to hear the concerns of our membership, to be able to add value in the goal of GCC's board of trustees is to evaluate their curriculum, to be able to make recommendations for programs, and so my goal is to be able to add value to that.
You know, your president is up for another position. I think she's one of the finalists for the presidency of University of Guam. And I don't know how the board meets and things like that in regards to how to respond to this situation when if she's
Selected.
picked as the next president of I was going to say United States. I'm jumping ahead here, right? Yeah. Anybody but Joe, right? Anyway, but yeah, if she is picked to be the next university president, what are your thoughts? Who would be the interim? And you know, because I know the board, alongside, of course, the President Okada, have done a tremendous job with GCC. You know, and I've always said that in regards to the needs of the community, you know, GCC responds at a faster rate to what is needed up there. You know, and most especially, you know, we got this military buildup. You guys have these boot camps that you put on, and we talked about, you know, of course, the need for, you know, IT is again underutilized here in Guam, and the need to enhance that again to need to promote that even more, so our folks, who, you know, our kids be able to get into in these fields. That is underserved, underutilized here in Guam, right? So again, how prepared is the board again to tackle that situation? Should your president be picked for the next University of Guam president? I mean, I know it's in good hands, but still, you know, you still have your your leader that might be the next president. I'm sorry to put you in that position, but
It's quite
you
all
know,
right.
you might be facing that.
As the newest potential member
Sure.
of the board, I'm hoping that, you know, there's always on the back of as part of the strategy is succession planning. So I can't speak on behalf of the board, but I do recognize that there is a process by which people submit
Sure,
their
sure,
submissions, and then we will evaluate it based on,
Sure.
you know, their merits.
Yeah, I've been on the board for 14 years, and Dr. Arcata has been on working for GCC before then, so I haven't gone through a president search, but there is
Yeah.
a formal process to begin
sure,
that.
sure.
And Dr. Arcata has been very good about communicating, you know, her future. She's ready for retirement, and then she has her other opportunities like you had mentioned.
Sure,
So yeah, we're very excited to have Yolanda. On top of that, we have accreditation also coming up, so we're going to need a full board, and again, ask you guys for your support.
Okay. So again, in your expertise that you bring into to the board, what again, in regards to your thinking and method in moving forward, what would be something different that you would add to the board that maybe is not there? I mean, you have I mean, the board's running great, you know, but there's always another direction and always, you know, another way to do things to be able to enhance it even more. So in your thinking, what could you contribute to enhance that, to enhance that opportunity there, and maybe not necessarily take it a different direction, but enhance that direction and take it to a better place. Not that it's not in a good place right now, but.
That's a great question. You know, because of COVID, so much has changed. The employment landscape, recruitment strategies have changed so much. So if I could offer anything to the board, it's my experience in testing different recruitment strategies, looking at different interviewing techniques to be able to incorporate behavioral interviewing, situational interviewing techniques to better gauge whether or not a candidate is fit for the role. So in short, I think just my experience in human resources can lend itself to selecting a candidate based on, you know, just the newer maybe recruitment strategies and interviewing process.
You know, I think it was last week or the week before we had the Department of Corrections here. Okay, and the reason why I'm putting this up because one of the programs that they had prior to COVID was for the inmates that qualified to be able to go to either at GCC or UOG, but because of COVID, they weren't able to attend or continue to attend. And I knew that, I mean, they did not have the infrastructure. Of course, they could not take they're not allowed to take computers back to their cells and things of that nature. But how would you, again, work to maybe enhance that program? Because these, you know, we asked them whether they're a jail or a correctional facility. And they said, of course, we are both. We're a jail and a correctional facility. I don't want to lose that part of the correctional facility in regards to, you know, bettering the inmates who may be looking at getting out soon, and how do they change their lives to be productive. And I hate to be able to, I mean, not have the infrastructure in place. And I know a lot of this will definitely be, you know, on the shoulders of DOC. But what would you recommend, again, to be able to work closely with institutions like DOC and maybe, well, I don't know if you guys work with DYA as well, but to make sure that programs are not lost, most especially, again, folks who are maybe getting ready to transition out to come back out into the community. And I hate to have them, again, lose that because COVID did not do that, and they weren't allowed. I mean, yeah, most people were online for schools, but they weren't able to do that. So I don't know if they ever completed their education regarding that. So what do you recommend? What do you foresee in that?
I think as a whole, we've had to, as a community, we've had to adjust, right, to the challenges that COVID presented. If we're not able to allow inmates to have a tablet for whatever reason, I think maybe pivoting to being able to do it virtually, if that's even possible. I don't know fully the infrastructure of the Department of Corrections facility, but that would be one thing that comes to mind. We could always go back to, you know, materials and having them do independent study is another. I don't know how successful that will be, but like everything else, we've had to test different methods to see whether or not, I mean, even the online training has not really proven to be very successful. So a lot of it is, you know, we are testing and seeing whether or not it is successful, and then we have to just adjust after that.
Okay. You know, I mean, I look forward to voting in your nomination, of course. You know, I need to ask my questions, but anyway, no, I look forward to that. And again, you're entering a great institution. You know, great folks. Again, sometimes, you know, of course, you want to see people rise to even better positions, and you know, for selfish reasons, sometimes we want to say, hey, why do you have to go? You know, all that. But anyway, but congratulations on your nominations, but it seems like you're ready to do the job, right?
Thank you, Senator Lujan.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Vice Chair. Senator Kanata.
Congratulations on your appointment, Ms. Yolanda.
Thank you.
Does your family support you taking up this membership?
I am my son is off in the military,
Oh.
so I'm an empty nester.
Okay.
I have a new lease on life, and I enjoy contributing to the community from which I've gained so much from. So it's a passion of mine. So I have the full support of those around me, including my employer, my other.
Well,
partner.
I'm very thankful for your appointment here. I think it's very fitting for you to be stepping up to this position. Like my colleague said earlier, I'm almost certain that there will be a new presidency needed for GCC, down to the top 3, and I think she's gonna be the president of choice. So I think you guys will be having a huge search for yourselves. I think she's done a huge impact on the university. I mean the college. So I'm hoping she can do a huge impact also for the university. So I really don't have any questions for you. I see that you have you have an extensive background in human resources. You've had a phenomenal career. So I'm sure you're going to be putting a lot of that information to work, and you're going to be helping the college figure out whatever it needs to figure out. And I think you should be what's the word? Confirmed. So you have my support and confidence. And I wish you all the best. Thank you again for your public service.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Kanata. Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, ma'am. I don't have any questions either. I'm looking at the package that was given to us. You are a very impressive individual, and you're going to begin service at a very impressive institution. I wish you the best, and if you need anything, please come to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Fisher. Senator Titagui.
Tijus Masi. Hi, Yolanda. Hi, first, I want to apologize for the long wait. It's obvious, this was scheduled wrong, but, had to leave you guys here all night almost, but I appreciate you waiting it out, and especially those who are here to testify. My apologies for that. Yolanda, first I want to say Biba, Notre Dame, right on. When I saw that, yay. My son went to Notre Dame. He was one of the first when it opened up to the boys, so Biba. Yeah. And the second one is, how many times does the board meet, Yolanda? A month?
The GCC board?
Yes.
It's once a month.
Okay. So it tells me that you had to look to find out. So how much do you know about this board then? It meets once a month, which you just found out. Have you had the opportunity to read any of the board minutes?
So I have done my research on its mission and understanding how I can contribute to the board. So yes, I've read into GCC's mission and the Board of Trustees and what their role is.
Okay. What about the
But
board
I have
minutes?
not read the board minutes, no.
So you don't know what they're doing currently right now?
I understand their initiatives in terms of workforce programs.
Okay. Okay. So I recommend that, before you get started, the confirmation might take another couple weeks. It gives you enough time to catch up and see what those board minutes were talking about or what was said on that, okay, to get you ready. Because, yep, your resume looks good. This is the first time ever serving on a Government of Guam board?
Yes.
Okay. You do realize that you'll have to take an ethics course? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. And you do realize that any funds or anything that you have, everything must be transparent?
As a former banker, I can attest to being very comfortable with that.
That's very good to hear. Very good to hear. I mean, you saw what happened earlier, so you don't want to get into that kind of shenanigans. So, other than that, again, thank you so much for wanting to step up and serve. My door is, this is your first time in government board, so please, my door is always open if you have any questions or if I can be assistant to you. Please don't be afraid to call on me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Brown.
Certainly welcome, and I know it's been a long afternoon, probably far longer than you anticipated, but this should be fairly easy. I'm also a fellow Notre Dame grad, just a few years before you started. You started in '86. I was just several years ahead of you before I graduated, but I certainly welcome your contribution. We enjoy having people outside of government come in, because otherwise things get a little too incestuous. You know, I think it's important to have members of the community that have different awareness, different insight, particularly from the private sector, to come in and certainly can improve on how we operate. And even though we all know the Guam Community College has had quite an impressive history to get it to collectively of where it is today, and certainly for all you that have contributed, it's much appreciated. Impressed with your background, and also you know, just sitting as SHRM president with regards to human resources. I mean, that's such a critical resource in any organization, be it the private sector, in the government. I mean, you can't move things without your people. How do you feel that background will help maybe improve or contribute to the Guam Community College with you serving on the board?
I think as part of the main things that we do is to evaluate the vocational training. And so my experience with the SHRM as well as human resources, I've actually even benefited from one of the boot camps with J. And so I fully support it. I think it's so necessary. We're having extreme issues with recruiting on the island. And so I'm a proponent that if you can't find them and it's very difficult, then you grow them yourselves. And so I think that the GCC, you know, hits the nail on the head by being able to work with employers to understand what their needs are and to come and answer that call. I've sat in, we were a part of the first diesel mechanic training, or boot camp that is. And so, you know, that process made me feel very, very comforted to know that the GCC spends enough time with employers to really get a better understanding of what their needs are and supports us fully. So I believe that my experience in human resources, having been a benefactor of the program, I have my ear on the ground with my experience with SHRM, and we can, you know, just essentially prepare, we can make recommendations. That's part of what we do to be able to also improve the student experience. So I think there are many factors that I can add value to as with respect to my experience and how I can add value to the board.
Well, I appreciate your response, and I think that's really critical as a connection. I mean, you have people out there that need the jobs, and being able to provide them, maybe they don't have the training in that area, but they can go to GCC and get that training and be able to connect to you know, employment opportunities that are really relevant and in demand. And I think that's important. I think it's important to have, in order to have a healthy community, we have to have a working community. And you know, the amount of people that we have that are not working that should and could have had, you know, could have the opportunity to do that. I mean, there's such a large number. So I certainly appreciate your stepping up to the plate. I'm very impressed as well with your presentation and your credentials, and I certainly wish you well in your appointment to the GCC board. We certainly look forward to hearing good things ahead. Thank you very much, and thank you for stepping up to the plate.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Brown. Senator Blas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Ms. Padrones, and to the rest of the GCC family, thank you very much for being here. I was taken aback. I was doing some research and taken aback. You have a son in the military? Are you old enough to have a son in the military? Thank you very much on behalf of Kate for your son and for trusting that he's off on that. I tell you, I'm very impressed just sitting here and just listening and how you were able to present yourself and what your ideas. I've got an affinity. I've got a little bit with GCC. I used to adjunct at GCC as well. Okay, and I got most of my professional training from GCC. Okay, so I knew what it could do 40 years ago. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say it that way. 40 years ago. Ray, don't laugh because you were there. okay, 40 years ago, and today to see where it continues to go. You know, and you're right. I think you bring a perspective that I don't want to say is going to improve. I think it's going to enhance and build on already, you know, the brainchild and and what the knowledge and that they have in the board. You know, when you do, unfortunately, when you do, you guys are the unfortunate victims of being the comparison with you know, another post-secondary facility. And okay, when you kind of outshine them in many places, it's a good thing on you. And Ms. Padrones, I see your nomination and I see your inclusion in this with your expertise to be a very welcome addition to this board, which is why you have no problems in getting my affirmative vote in this thing. Thank you. First, are you sure you want to do this? Get orders from that guy? Well, let's talk later, and I'll give you reasons to, okay, well, how you can handle him and Carlo, okay? Okay? And Ms. Greeno over there, okay, so I'll be able to. But other than that, no. Thank you very much. I like, you know, same sentiments as my other colleagues. Thank you for stepping up. Okay, we got a lot of challenges before us, and GCC is gonna, you know, this community is gonna look a lot to GCC and what we're gonna be able to provide. Okay, at least my fears are allayed, and I know that with your expertise in there, along with the expertise that already exists in this board, that we're going to do much better, no matter who the president is. Okay? Don't let not that worry us. Just so long as he doesn't take any one of you with her to the next place if she goes over there, okay? Dr. Tadella, you got to make sure of that. Right? Okay, so thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much, Senator Blas. Thank you to everyone who came to testify today, from Ms. Padrones to the GCC team, Siduos Maasi. Thank you very much, Mrs. Padrones, for your willingness to serve, for stepping up to this position, and for the governor's appointment to this board. We look forward to moving your nomination quickly, hopefully in this next session, so you can join the board. You're going to have a lot of work ahead of you, so we wish you the best of luck. And with that, that concludes this nomination hearing for Yolanda Padrones for the GCC Board of Trustees. Siduos Masi, everyone. We'll take a 1-minute recess.